Hello, BookTube. Welcome to my channel, Jim Reads Too Slow. I'm Jim, and all things seem to be getting back to normal around here. I just returned from vacation. My wife and I went to visit our son and daughter-in-law and our grandpuppies, Walter and Harry, in Portland, Oregon. We had a really good time, a much-needed break from the monotony of the day-to-day around here. We were able to be there for a full week. And it was wonderful. We were punished for it. We're having to pay for it with in terms of what I'm going to find when I get back to work. But we had a good time. Plus, I was able to meet up with Alan of Big Hard Books and Classics. He was kind enough, after we had a little bit of pizza, to stroll through downtown Portland on a beautiful afternoon. We went down by the river. We saw the sights, and it was fun. It was really fun. I've had this channel about a year and a half now, and Alan, his channel was one of the first that I subscribed to, even before I had my channel. And he is the first of my BookTube associates who I have been able to meet up with in real life, which is kind of a little milestone for me. I'm happy to have experienced that. Needless to say, though, as I said, with all of the getting ready for vacation and all that I had to do at work to get ready for it, all that's going to be, all the worry and anxiety of all of that, I have not had a very productive reading life for the past few weeks, several weeks, I guess. But I do need to catch up a little on what I'm doing this month, what I did last month. So here goes. I was able to finish Louis Lamora's Sackett and then C.S. Forster's Beat to Quarters in June for June on the Range and Hornblower 2023, respectively. I also finished The Lies of Locke Lamora, a fantasy novel by Scott Lynch that I have been working on for quite a while. I finished it a couple of days into July, but no big deal. So Sackett, excuse me. I really like this book. Parts of it seem really familiar, understandably. The 70s movie, The Sacketts, starring Sam Elliott, Tom Selleck, Jeff Osterhage, Glenn Ford, and others. A really good Western. I would recommend it as well. Part of it is based on this book. One of my sisters and her husband had a copy of the Sacketts back in the day. They may still. I don't know. They had it on VHS. And it seemed like every time we would go over to their house, it would be playing. They played it on repeat. To the point where I think it was sort of burned into their VCR, so that they didn't even have to have the tape in there. They would just turn the machine on and it would automatically start to play on their TV. So anyway, this is number 4 chronologically in Lamora's Sackett series of novels. And it concerns Tell Sackett, the oldest of the Sackett brothers. Tell is on his way to see his 2 brothers and their mother, who've moved out west, and he's going to see them, as well as he's trying to avoid a showdown with the brother of a man he was forced to kill in a gunfight before this novel has begun. And as he's on his way, quite by accident, as often happens, he discovers gold in a remote mountain valley. Now, his idea is he wants to mine just enough of this gold now to be able to buy the gear he needs to come back and then mine properly. His end is he wants to buy a little spread, settle down, raise some cattle, maybe start a family, whatever. But the question is, is he going to be able to turn this small amount of gold that he wants to buy his gear with into cash without some nefarious individuals finding out about his strike and following him? Also, there may be someone else who is up in this valley in the mountains. We'll have to wait and see about that one. It's a good book. It's a really easy read. This edition is about 150 pages, so it goes quick. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. It's a good Western. And then we have Beat to Quarters, which is which I read, as I said, for Hornblower 2023. In this book, Captain Horatio Hornblower and his frigate, the HMS Lydia, find themselves in the Pacific Ocean, off the coast of Central America, Honduras to Panama. That's where most of the action takes place. He is on orders. He is helping a local warlord who's declared independence from the Spanish, and he is also kind of nuts. This El Supremo. But then, when Spain breaks with Napoleonic France and becomes an ally of Great Britain, Hornblower has to switch his allegiances, and then he has to fight the warlord. There's some great writing about a couple of naval battles, really exciting. It's a good story. There's also a little romance, as Hornblower must take on board a British aristocrat, a lady, and protect her for most of the rest of the novel. I really enjoyed this book, and I would recommend it. It is the first of C.S. Forster's Hornblower novels in terms of publication order. It was published in 1937 with the UK title The Happy Return. And a few months later, it was published in February. A few months later, I think in April, it was published in the US with this title, Beat to Quarters. In chronological order, it's the 6th of the 11 Hornblower novels. And this is the book I read for June. So during July, I am reading book 7, Ship of the Line. And I'll let you know how that goes later. Okay. I'm also rereading oh no, back up a little bit. Lives of Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is my science fiction / fantasy read for the last couple of months. It is a story of a young man who is raised as part of a group of talented master thieves who steal from the rich and powerful aristocrats in a city, despite a secret rule that allows organized crime to exist in this city, as long as the rich and powerful are left alone by that crime. It is the first in Lynch's Gentlemen Bastards sequence. It's a story about a confidence scam, basically. It's also a buddy story, and it's a story of revenge on multiple levels. There are a few passages I would have to say that are not for the squeamish, but overall, I love this book. So much so that I have begun reading book 2 in the sequence, Red Seas Under Red Skies, book 2 in the Gentlemen Bastards sequence. And I'll be reading this through July, probably on into August, realistically. And then I'll go into book 3, The Republic of Thieves, which is on order. Hopefully I'll have it. I'm sure I'll have it by then. Book 4 may or may not be published in my lifetime. We'll wait and see. See how quick Lynch is. And then, as I started to say, I'm rereading George Orwell's 1984 this month with a group, and I am definitely picking up some new things that I missed the first couple of times around. I used to be entirely in the camp with those who say that Huxley's Brave New World is kind of the way our culture is shaken out. But after, about 2/3 of the way through 1984, I'm seeing elements of what's going on in this book. So it's kind of a mix of the two dystopian novels. So I'm also reading this month, As I Lay Dying, William Faulkner's masterpiece. It's part of my family reading group for the month, our book selection for July. My nephew wanted to read some Faulkner, didn't really know where to start. So I suggested that apart from his short stories, this is probably one of the better places to start with Faulkner. Excuse me. This read also hopefully will get me in the mood for next month, which will be Faulkner in August, when we're going to be reading Absalom. So more on that later. And that takes care of June and July, my reading for these months, past and ongoing. Not the greatest, but I like the books I'm reading, so that's what counts. I hope you're all reading every day. Hope you're doing well. So until next time, have a good one, BookTube.